welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a worth the buy or not foundation review on the new Becca Skin Love Weightless Blur Foundation. It's supposed to be just really skin loving and very comfortable and wearable for like everyday use. So I was like, that would be interesting, especially since we all love a good everyday foundation. It has vitamin C, cold pressed avocado and melon blend and bitter ginger, and it is infused with Glow Nectar Brightening Complex. It also says that it's a medium coverage liquid foundation with buildable finish that enhances the natural beauty of your skin, which we all love. We all love something that can like make our skin look better but still be really natural and good. It's a weightless formula that boosts radiance and maintains skin's natural moisture levels all day, comfortable wear. It's also a pore blurring foundation. And let's just go ahead and test it out. So I already went ahead and did my everyday skincare morning routine. I already applied moisturizer. For moisturizer, we used the First ABD Instant Repair Cream, which is one of my favorite to use for every day. And I actually want to try a new primer. Well, it's not new to me, but I wanted to try something different than what I have. I got a sample of the Becca Ever Matte Primer. I used to own this a few years back and I really enjoyed it, but I haven't used it since then. I want to say since like 2016-ish. So I got a little sample of it. I figured that because it's the same brand, it may work really well together. And also, if you haven't heard, the Becca Everlasting Matte Primer is a nice, really mattifying primer for people that have oily skin. So I want to see how it reacts with this because who doesn't love a good starting point? So I'm going to take a little bit of the product and just put it in the back of my hand. And I remember from the last time I used this, I always like to warm this product up with my fingers just because I want to make sure that it doesn't get all wrinkly on the skin. So if you have really oily skin, you will love this stuff. If you don't have that oily of skin, it's literally going to crumble up on your face. So I would not recommend it. I just kind of like to dab it, and I'm mainly going to target the areas where I tend to get oily. So like my T-zone, you just have to be careful with it because it does crumble. Yeah, it's very similar to the NYX one. I also have to say this one, as soon as you put it down, it literally like sucks that moisture out of your skin. Okay, so now we can go ahead and get started with the foundation. I picked this up in the shade Bamboo. Okay, so it comes in this type of packaging right here. In here you have 1.23 ounces, which you have a little bit extra than a standard size, which is awesome. And this does retail for $44. So it's not a cheap foundation, but you get a good amount of product. And this is gonna last you for 12 months before it expires. A lot of brands have been coming out with this packaging, especially when they come out with like everyday wear type of foundations, which I think is pretty convenient because I know a lot of people that use their foundation every day, sometimes put it in their makeup bag and carry it to work and apply it at work or use it after the gym, just kind of like for everyday use. I feel like this is really appropriate as opposed to having something like this and having to carry it around with you. This can break easily. So I definitely like this for like an everyday use packaging, and I like the fact that it has a pump. So let's go ahead and squeeze this product out. The consistency feels super nice and hydrating and moisturizing. It doesn't feel too thick, but it also doesn't feel too runny, which is always a plus. So we're gonna go ahead and start tackling this side of the face. And we're gonna be using our Morphe complexion sponge and just taking care of business. My redness has been really under control lately. I think it's my morning skincare routine. I like do the most for my morning skincare routine. Well, the most for somebody that has like really like sensitive skin and rosacea. Okay, this is actually blending really nicely. It reminds me of the Lancome Skin Feel Good foundation. Very similar consistency, just feels really good and lightweight on the skin, which I really appreciate. You can see it legit looks like skin, and I think this color is pretty good. It kind of matches my neck perfectly. It just feels really moisturizing and it doesn't feel thick whatsoever. It feels perfect for everyday use, which is something we all love. We love a good everyday foundation that just feels really skin-like. I'm gonna take a little tiny bit more because there's some areas right here where I want to cover. But overall, it's looking really good, and it covered pretty well. It did say that it's a medium coverage, so if you want to build it up to a more fuller coverage, if you do have like blemishes, rosacea, eczema, like anything you want to cover on your cheek, you can definitely build it up to that fuller coverage, but the medium coverage definitely is not bad whatsoever. So we're just gonna be taking a little bit more. It's applying really well with my sponge. And the sponge isn't absorbing too much of the product. It's still giving you that medium coverage finish without you having to like pack it on, but it looks very beautiful on the skin. Yeah, and it looks like skin. It looks very much so like skin. I have a little bit more left, so I think I'm just gonna save it for the side with the brush. It looks really, really good. You can see how good that looks. And I do have to say, I think the primer was a big factor of making it look kind of more matte. But still looking good. And I also do have to say that compared to the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop primer, where it started to give me like problems with the foundation, the Becca primer did not give the foundation any problems. The foundation went on great. All it did that I can notice is that it did make it a little bit more matte looking, but it just looks fantastic. I would definitely see myself, if I end up loving the foundation, pairing it with that primer because I do have oily skin, but we still have to see how it's going to work together through the day because that's definitely really important too. So let's go ahead and take our brush. We're going to be using our Delium Tools Precision Kabuki brush. This is from the Golden Triangle collection. I will have it linked in my description box down below. We're gonna take a few layers and I'm just gonna be blending. Yeah, it blends out really nice. I have like less than half of a pump out once I've used the other half on here, and it is covering this face. Do you see? It looks really good. Really, really good. So I'm gonna be taking a little bit more, like that much, and hopefully this much is enough to cover everything else because we still haven't covered the forehead. So it's blending out beautifully with the sponge. I feel like whenever you have a foundation that's nice and moisturizing and super lightweight and creamy, it's so easy to blend with the sponge and it just looks really beautiful. It almost gives it that airbrush finish, especially if you have a very soft bristled sponge. It looks amazing. It looks really, really good. There's a little bit of area right here where you could still go in and cover a little bit better, but for the most part, it covered absolutely beautifully. Okay, so now that we are done applying both sides, you can see exactly what it looks like, and it just looks so beautiful. Like, I really like this, and I really love the fact that it doesn't feel like you have anything on. I also really have to say that I feel like this color is one of my closest matches of foundations that I've used. I feel like usually there's times where sometimes it can be a little bit off and you guys notice it and I notice it. But then there's foundations when I see that I feel like I'm really close to in color and I'm like, oh my God, this like actually matches me pretty well. Looking at it up close, it looks great on the skin. It's not clinging onto my texture. It kind of blends right into my skin. Like it sinks into my skin, whereas though it makes it look like it's my skin, but a perfected version of it. It's not clinging onto my skin up here. Sometimes it does tend to do that right in between my eyebrows, but it's not doing that with this foundation. This is a really good look so far. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is I'm gonna finish the rest of my makeup and then I'm gonna come back and give you guys my first initial thoughts on how it wore for the first like 30 minutes. And then we can go ahead and start our day and see if this foundation by Becca, Skin Love, is worth the buy. Okay, so I am back. I finished my entire face of makeup. I will have all the details on this face down below in my description box. You guys can find out in case you're wondering what I'm wearing on my lips or my eyes. You guys will know the tea. So I want to talk about the foundation. So actually, everything went on so beautifully, so well. My blush, my under eye baking powder went on phenomenal. And you guys know that's like a must for me. I always have to bake my under eyes because of creasing. That's the only area where I did apply powder, only on my under eyes. I didn't set anything else. I didn't bake any other areas. I let everything be just the way it is because I really like how it was looking. I only like to set with powder or bake my face when I feel like the foundation may have some slip ups. and then I go in and do that. But if I feel like the foundation's looking great, I'm gonna leave it as being, let it do its thing, let it work its magic through the day, and then I can kind of see what happens by the end of the day. So right now I'm feeling really positive about it. I love how this matches me, and I just feel like I don't have anything on. The only area where I feel like I have something on are my lashes, because I haven't worn falsies in a while because I've had my lash extensions. Blush is blended out perfectly. The concealer, I use the Laura Mercier concealer. This is the Ultra Longwear Concealer, and it blended out perfectly with this foundation. I feel like because the foundation is so lightweight and so moisturizing, it allows everything else to blend really nicely on top of it. And I feel like as soon as you give it a good 30 minutes, it sets into the skin and it doesn't disturb any of the other products on the face. And I love those foundations that do that, because some foundations will not set and they'll be too thick and they'll be like kind of disturbing the way that everything else applies, and it just becomes a hot mess. But this foundation feels great, and I really like the fact that it has some great ingredients, the vitamin C, the ginger, cold pressed avocado and melon blend, that like all those things just make me feel really good that I'm putting this onto my skin. So that is a plus. I'm gonna go ahead and carry on with the rest of my day, and I will be back later and give you guys an update, because I always like to do those lighting updates, and then we can go ahead and see each other at the end of the day and give you guys my final thoughts on this Becca Skin Love Foundation. Hey guys, so I am back. Right now it is 4:30 p.m. and I've been wearing this foundation all day, and it's holding up pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's completely matte. It definitely has some oil peeking through, as you can see, but it's nothing too intense like the Natasha Denona. No shade there, but like, let's be real, that was pretty bad. This one actually looks pretty decent. It's holding up very well. It is very hot outside. It's like 95 degrees out with a lot of humidity, so I'm really surprised that it's been able to hold up pretty well through the day. It's still in place. The one thing that I really appreciate about this is that it's not sticky whatsoever. So like when you touch the face, it doesn't feel really sticky. So that's a good thing. Sometimes I don't like when foundations feel sticky, because I feel like, especially when it's summertime and it's hot out, it tends to really like hurt my skin. Not hurt my skin, but like it just makes it feel more gross, especially with when you're sweating and all that and it's hot. It just feels worse when it's sticky. So that's the only thing, but it looks really nice on the skin. Feels very lightweight. Doesn't even feel like I have anything on the skin, which is always a plus. Very good for every day. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue with the rest of my day, and then I will be back at the very end of the day and give you guys my final thoughts on this foundation. So stay tuned. I'm looking hella crusty right now. So it is now, what time is it? It is now 8:26 p.m. at night, and I'm starting to get really sick. I'm about to take some NyQuil. Hopefully I don't get sick, because I have so much to do this weekend. But I have some well-developed thoughts on this foundation. I want to quickly say I think it held up really well. Overall, I think it's a pretty good foundation. Now, I do have to say that it does transfer, like when you touch it, it does transfer to your hands. So if you're going to be like touchy-feely on somebody, this is something that will transfer, which is something that I don't necessarily like from an everyday foundation. I like when it kind of like stays in place and that's it. Because when it transfers, it's kind of annoying, especially for every day. Like you're going to be kind of like running errands and doing stuff. You don't want it to like be getting on like other people or like other stuff. There is a little bit of oils. It's not like a completely matte foundation. This does not claim to be matte whatsoever. It actually says that it's infused with Glow Nectar Brightening Complex. So like it has like that brightening, that like kind of glowy effect. I think what made it really kind of look more on the matte side was the Becca mattifying primer. So if you're somebody that wants to try the foundation, I would say get a sample of both of them if you're like unsure, and see kind of how it does in your complexion. I feel like this Becca Skin Love foundation would be really good on people that have dry skin, normal skin, and combination skin. I feel like with people that have oily skin, it will look nice on you, but it will definitely have a little bit of dew. I have some dew going on. It's not really, really intense, but it's definitely like that dewy finish by the end of the day. So if you don't like that and you have really oily skin, then I wouldn't recommend spending $44 on this for an everyday foundation. I'm sure you can find something better for every day that will keep you more matte and in place. But if you do kind of have that combination skin and you kind of want to keep certain areas a little bit more matte, you can always use the Becca primer to kind of keep those locations more matte looking on this type of foundation. I feel like for $44, I personally, if I had to go out and buy a foundation for every day, I don't think I would select this one because I definitely feel like there's little things that as an oily person for every day I would kind of get frustrated and annoyed with. But I think the foundation is very nice looking. Like, it does look very nice on the skin. It looks beautiful. It doesn't feel like you're wearing foundation. I think for every day, for like somebody with dry skin, normal skin, I feel like you will love this if you're looking for a more higher end product. Because I mean, $44 isn't like the cheapest thing ever. This is pretty pricey. $44. But I also do have to say, I feel like the color Bamboo in this foundation looks great with my complexion. I feel like it was a really nice match for me. So if you are planning on getting this foundation and you want a color that's going to be similar to you and you're kind of my complexion, then you're probably going to like Bamboo. Bamboo is the shade for you. So those are my thoughts. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you guys have any other foundation recommendations, then please go ahead and leave them down below so I can go ahead and check out those foundations. There are some foundations that I'm definitely going to be checking out this following week. So stay tuned for some new foundation reviews this week and also some other fun tutorial little things that I have going on. So that being said, please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing my worth the buy or not foundation reviews. Also, please go ahead and subscribe. I would love for you to become a member family here on YouTube because I wouldn't want you guys to miss my videos for the world. We are doing numbers these days. You guys are like really on a roll with subscribing and I really greatly appreciate that. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Get all your friends and fam bam to subscribe because we are on a mission to 20K and we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there soon, super soon. So go ahead and subscribe. So that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video and I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye guys.